and all of that, but some of them are very concerned about that. Hypothetically speaking, if preservation trusts ever go away and we have opened up the gates for this area, what else would move in there and what would be the other criteria that would come into this? Those are some things that, that some of the people in the community are asking and questioning.
And one of the things I would like to point out is that this house is part of the Hampton Heights local, on the local registry of historic districts. One of the things in terms of the exterior of the home, regardless of who moves in there, any work they do to the exterior of the home will still have to be reviewed by the Historic Architectural Review Board. As well as if the parking in terms of the back, we have to work with them, but if the parking is visible from the street, we work with them in terms of parking. So the exterior of the home will still remain intact in terms of looking like a historic house, because they can't go in and do any type of work without Harb's approval.
I don't think they're not too concerned about that. They're concerned about it turning into spot zone. That's their concern. And, I don't know, it might be something that will speak on it, but that's some of their concerns. And I just one of the questions I'm asking as well.
Right, and then in terms of spot zoning, because this area adjacent to is zone limited office district, it would be compatible with the house there in the corner. That wouldn't be spot zoning, and in terms of the use, our regulations very strict in terms of LOD is for limited office districts, so it would be only limited to office use.
Stephanie, you purposely show the business part of this, but in the back of there's a neighborhood. Number one, the Preservation Trust fought very hard to make that a livable neighborhood, residential area. Number two, Preservation Trust has been very negligent in the way they handle things. Now they renovated this house for $200,000. The house is only valued at $199,000, and then they come here asking us if that was in my neighborhood, we wouldn't even consider doing a rezone, let alone invest more money into a situation like this. So, to me, Preservation Trust is not taking into consideration of the whole neighborhood when they do this. They rent a building already, and number one, if they were going to do this, why didn't they look at doing it before they renovated and they fell through on their agreement with whoever? I just think that, and the fact that they have their own contractors that fix up these houses, and I know for a fact that some people have had problems. Number two, the Preservation Trust is being sued. We need to look at all of this.
I would just speak in terms of the concern about setting a precedence. If any other application comes before the Planning Commission, Albany City Council for rezoning, each case should be examined independently of any rezoning that takes place here if council decides to do that. I know there's a conversation that the Planning Commission had in terms of where does that demarcation line stop, and the Planning Commission did inform the people that were present that they don't feel like they're setting a precedence by rezoning, by recommending approval of rezoning this, and that if this house or this house or this house, and this is a vacant lot, come before them, it would be taken as a.
And I understand what you're saying, but I disagree with them because of that. The Planning Commission is there to make sure that we protect our neighborhood, our residential area. And I'm not just jumping on you, but I just think this whole thing is just a little bit irresponsible to our citizens. Preservation Trust, we've given them a lot of leeway, and we have not given any other entity that kind of leeway. So that's my point.
All right, John. Ms. Monroe, you'll go back to the picture of the parking behind the building. I think the question was posed about the number of potential spaces. We have no idea how many cars can park there right now.
No, a site plan was not presented to us at this time.
Don't you think it would be a good idea to come to us with some specific information pertaining to that? You're going to have questions about that. It's obviously impacting whether or not we decide on this.
That's
Number
right.
two, you have bike lanes going by this. Are you going to have parking in those bike lanes?
No, at this time.
You know, parking on the street?
Yeah, at this time, even where they're located right now, we don't have on-street parking.
So if there were a significant number of people meeting, say a board meeting or something to that effect, they would be parking behind the building
They would
in
park-
spaces, we don't know how many spaces there are.
They'll be parking behind the building, and then based on our requirement, they, I would have to look and see if they will meet the parking agreement, but they may possibly meet that because the building size is only 3,000 square feet. So it'll be a matter of could they find overflow parking for their use if they decide to have large meetings there, or if they would have to hold a meeting someplace else.
Yeah.
But you are correct, at this time, I cannot tell you how many parking spaces is required, because I don't have my zoning book. And I could calculate if I had my zoning book. but I don't have
Was
it.
there not a question from the planning commission regarding that?
No, not that I recall.
So,
We did discuss parking in the back, but, they did not ask for a specific number.
So it sounds like the planning commission did do due diligence, what they were supposed to do in order to rezone this, they just went on and rezoned it haphazardly. That was what it appeared to be.
Couple more. Do we, does the city not have any sort of provisional plan to protect the fringe of neighborhoods like this? This really encroaches upon that neighborhood in my opinion. And we need to have something that would protect the exterior rings of the neighborhood, so to speak, from situations like this, which I agree with Ms. Dogan, would constitute spot zoning.
We do have what's called a comprehensive plan, and, a number of times, your comprehensive plan is supposed to be your overall vision, and comprehensive plan is supposed to lead your zoning ordinance. I will admit that over the past couple of years, our zoning ordinance has basically, led the comprehensive plan, but you are correct, we do have a comprehensive plan that you typically follow, but at times, the comprehensive plan has to be updated, and that's a process that we have to look to do in terms of staff. But, we do try to protect the fringe of the neighborhood as much as possible.
Okay, precedent. You had a situation occur in Congress Heights on Lucas Court
That's correct,
that was turned down.
that's correct, and that
So
was.
why are we not looking at that same possibility here?
I think on, Lucas Court, it's just it might be a hair difference, in terms of, here
How
on
so?
Spring Street that we're talking about. Right now, there's a number of cut-through traffic here, so the traffic count is greater, I would say, between this area and that area. I'm sorry I don't have those exact numbers right now, but, just looking at the traffic count here, it would be higher than what you had experienced on, Lucas Court in terms of they didn't have that cut-through traffic going past that house, kind of turn to go into Arby's.